First contact. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the Lunar Defense Station Artemis, her weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays, showing what everyone had both expected and dreaded for centuries. First contact. But this wasn't the diplomatic encounter humanity had hoped for. The void between Mars and Jupiter was filled with thousands of warships, their metallic hulls reflecting the distant sunlight like artificial stars. "Display quantum signature analysis," she commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. The AI responded instantly, projecting detailed scans of the approaching fleet. The ships belonged to the Galactic Empire, a species that had spent millennia expanding through the galaxy, absorbing or eliminating any civilization they encountered. But humanity wasn't unprepared. They had never been unprepared. "Initiative Sentinel is active," Admiral, reported Commander David Okafor, his dark fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "All defense platforms are operational, and the quantum entanglement network is stable." Chen allowed herself a small smile. For 300 years, Earth had maintained the greatest deception in human history. While they presented themselves to the galaxy as a primitive, pre-FTL civilization, they had been watching, learning, and preparing. Hidden quantum sensors scattered throughout nearby star systems had monitored alien civilizations for generations, gathering intelligence about their technologies, their strategies, and their weaknesses. The Cardassian fleet's approach was textbook, their standard invasion pattern used successfully against hundreds of worlds. They would position themselves just beyond conventional weapons range, demand surrender, and then launch overwhelming force against any resistance. "They're broadcasting, Admiral," announced Lieutenant Maria Santos from her communication station. "Standard galactic common, all frequencies." The message materialized in the air before them, translated instantly by their systems. "Civilization of Sol 3, you are hereby incorporated into the greater Cardassian Empire. Resistance is futile. Submit to immediate occupation or face extinction. You have one planetary rotation to comply." Chen exchanged glances with her senior staff. This was the moment centuries of preparation had built toward. "Send them our response, the one we've waited 300 years to deliver." Santos nodded, her fingers activating the transmission sequence they had rehearsed countless times. The message was simple, broadcast in perfect Cardassian. "You should have listened to the others when they warned you about Earth." Before the Cardassians could process this unexpected response, Chen gave the command that would change the course of galactic history. "Initiate Protocol Prometheus." Throughout the solar system, humanity's true technological achievement revealed itself. Quantum tunnels opened in space, bypassing traditional physics. Defense platforms that had masqueraded as asteroid mining stations transformed, revealing weapon systems that combine technologies from a dozen alien civilizations in ways their original creators had never imagined. But the real surprise wasn't their weapons. As the Cardassian fleet prepared their first strike, they discovered something impossible. Their supposedly unhackable quantum computers were already compromised. Humanity hadn't just studied alien technology, they had evolved beyond it. The Human Quantum AI Network, distributed through subspace across the entire solar system, had been interfacing with Cardassian systems since the moment they entered the system. It wasn't merely hacking, it was communicating in ways the Cardassians couldn't comprehend, at speeds that made their most advanced AI seem primitive by comparison. "They're attempting to launch their first wave," Okafor reported, monitoring the enemy fleet's movements. "Exactly as expected." Chen nodded. "Show them why Earth was never prey." The space between Earth and the Cardassian fleet lit up with energy signatures never before seen in the galaxy. Humanity's quantum-entangled defense network didn't just target the enemy ships, it rewrote the laws of physics around them. Vessels that had conquered hundreds of worlds found themselves trapped in localized fields where their technology simply stopped working. As the Cardassian fleet scrambled to respond, they received another transmission from Earth, We've spent centuries preparing for this moment. Every species you've conquered warned others about Earth, spreading rumors about why this system should be avoided. Those weren't rumors. They were warnings from the civilizations we secretly helped escape your empire. The first battle was over in minutes, but it wasn't through destruction. The Kordaxian fleet hung motionless in space, their mighty warships rendered powerless by technology they couldn't even understand. As their leaders watched in disbelief, they realized a fundamental truth. They hadn't discovered Earth. Earth had allowed them to arrive at exactly the right moment. Admiral Chen looked at the stunned Kordaxian fleet, knowing this was just the beginning. "Send the final message," she ordered. "Let them understand exactly what they've awakened." The transmission was broadcast across every frequency, in every language in the galaxy. "For centuries, we've hidden our true nature, watching as you conquered and destroyed. That ends today. We are humanity, and we are no one's prey. We are evolution's children, and it's time for the galaxy to change." The age of human isolation was over. The galaxy would never be the same. The warning. Supreme Commander Vexthor of the Kordaxian Empire stood frozen before the holographic displays aboard his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. His chitinous exoskeleton bristled with an emotion his species rarely experienced: fear. Around him, his bridge crew worked frantically to restore control to their immobilized fleet, but their efforts were futile against forces they couldn't comprehend. "Impossible," he chittered, mandibles clicking rapidly. Their civilization showed no signs of quantum manipulation capabilities, no evidence of advanced AI, no indication of— "My lord," his senior analyst interrupted, "we're detecting energy signatures unlike anything in our database. They're not just using advanced technology, they're using impossible combinations of it." The humans had done what no species in known space had achieved. They had taken the fundamental technologies of multiple civilizations and merged them in ways that defied conventional physics. Each alien race developed along predictable technological paths, building upon their own discoveries. But humans had observed them all, learning not just their technologies but their limitations, and then broken those limitations entirely. A new transmission cut through their command frequencies, bypassing encryptions that had protected Kordaxian communications for millennia. A human female appeared on their screens. "Admiral Chen," their databases provided. "Supreme Commander Vexthor." She addressed him directly. "Your empire has conquered 347 civilizations. You've ended countless lives, destroyed entire cultures, all in the name of expansion and control. But you've never encountered anything like humanity." Vexthor's compound eyes narrowed. "You hide your true nature, build weapons in secret, and now claim moral superiority. You're no different from any species we've conquered, just more deceptive." Chen's smile carried no warmth. "We didn't build weapons, Commander. We built solutions. For every world you conquered, we learned. For every civilization you destroyed, we evolved. We didn't just study technology. We studied you." As if to emphasize her point, the quantum fields holding the Kordaxian fleet shifted. Suddenly, their sensors could detect what had been hidden before: massive structures throughout the solar system, technological achievements that shouldn't have been possible. 300 years ago, Chen continued, "we detected your empire's expansion. We saw how you operated, always the same pattern, always the same assumptions. You believe technological progress follows a linear path. You think species develop in predictable ways. That was your first mistake. The displays showed impossible images, human quantum computers that operated on principles that violated what the Kordaxians thought were universal laws. Defense systems that combined the temporal manipulation of the Arcturians with the phase technology of the Zeta Reticuli, creating defenses that existed simultaneously in multiple dimensions. Your second mistake," Chen's voice carried an edge now, "was believing that humanity's greatest strength was our technology. Let me show you why that's wrong." Across the solar system, human ships began emerging from quantum tunnels. vessels that incorporated living metal with biological computers, crewed by humans who had voluntarily merged with AI in ways that created something entirely new. They weren't cyborgs or simple human-machine hybrids. They were the next step in conscious evolution. We call them the synthesis, Chen explained, watching Vexthor's reaction. Humans who chose to merge their consciousness with our quantum AI network, not to lose their humanity, but to expand it. They are our children, our future, and your worst nightmare. The synthesis ships moved with impossible grace, their human crews thinking at quantum speeds, able to process information and react faster than any conventional AI. They weren't bound by the limitations of either organic or artificial intelligence. They were something new. "This is your only warning, Commander." Chen's voice was firm. "Your empire ends here. You can retreat, taking with you the knowledge that there are forces in this galaxy beyond your understanding. Or you can fight and learn firsthand why every species we secretly contacted spread warnings about Earth." Vexthor's mandibles clicked rapidly as he processed this information. His empire had never retreated, never shown weakness, but they had also never faced an enemy that had spent centuries specifically preparing for them. "You believe you can stand against an empire that spans 1,000 worlds?" he challenged, though his voice lacked its usual confidence. "No," Chen replied. "We believe we can change it. You see, Commander, humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, our adaptability, or even our synthesis evolution. It's our capacity for both ruthless efficiency and profound mercy. Today, you'll discover which you receive." As if to punctuate her words, the quantum fields around the Kordaxian fleet pulsed, temporarily restoring power to their ships. It was a demonstration, showing them that their helplessness was a choice, not a necessity. "You have 1 hour to decide," Chen concluded. "Choose wisely. Because unlike every civilization you've encountered before, we're not fighting for survival. We're fighting for change, and we've spent centuries learning exactly how to achieve it." The transmission ended, leaving Vexthor staring at the impossible human fleet. For the first time in Kordaxian history, an empire built on absolute military superiority faced a choice: adapt or fall. The next hour would determine not just the fate of this battle, but the future of galactic civilization itself. Adaptation. Supreme Commander Vexthor made his decision before the hour expired. In 3 millennia of Kordaxian expansion, no empire had ever forced them to choose between adaptation and destruction. The humans had just managed both. "All ships, combat formation Delta 9. He commanded, his voice carrying the weight of history. "But hold your fire. First, we show them that Kordaxians can adapt too." Throughout the immobilized fleet, crews rushed to implement changes that would have been unthinkable hours ago. Ships' quantum cores were reconfigured, weapons systems reprogrammed. The Kordaxians had conquered hundreds of worlds by being methodical, predictable, and overwhelming. Now, they would show humanity why they had survived so long. Aboard the Lunar Defense Station, Admiral Chen watched the Kordaxian fleet's transformation with interest. "They're reconfiguring their entire command structure," Commander Okafor noted, his neural interface streaming data directly to his consciousness, implementing changes that should take months and minutes. "Good," Chen replied, surprising her staff. "They're learning. Contact the synthesis fleet. It's time for the real test." The quantum fields constraining the Kordaxian vessels began to dissolve. As power returned to their ships, Vexthor revealed his species' hidden strength. The Kordaxian fleet didn't launch an attack. Instead, their ships began to merge, massive vessels combining into structures that defied conventional space warfare tactics. "Impressive," Chen admitted, watching the display. "They've adapted their hive mind technology for naval warfare, a strategy they've never needed before today." The transformed Kordaxian fleet now consisted of fewer but impossibly large vessels, their combined shields and weapons systems creating defensive and offensive capabilities far beyond their normal specifications. It was a desperate gambit, but one that showed why the Cordaxians had dominated galaxy for so long. Your adaptation is remarkable. Chen's transmission carried genuine respect. But now let us show you why humanity has spent centuries preparing for this moment. The synthesis fleet moved. Unlike traditional space combat, where ships maneuvered in predictable patterns dictated by physics and tactical doctrine, these vessels moved like living things. The human crews, their consciousness expanded by quantum AI integration, didn't just pilot their ships, they became them. What followed wasn't just a battle. It was an evolution of warfare itself. The Cordaxian megaships fired weapon systems designed to overwhelm planetary defenses, only to find their targets shifting between dimensions, appearing where physics said they couldn't be. The synthesis fleet responded with attacks that didn't just target the enemy's ships, but the space around them, creating localized areas where the laws of reality shifted unpredictably. How? Vexthor demanded, watching his most powerful weapons dissipate harmlessly against defenses that shouldn't exist. How did you advance so far without detection? Because we never followed the path you expected, Chen replied. Every species you've encountered developed technology linearly, building on their own discoveries. Humanity did something different. We looked at every species' technological trajectory and asked, what if we combined them all? As if to demonstrate, the synthesis fleet executed a maneuver that combined Arcturian phase technology with zeta reticulan quantum tunneling and elements of a dozen other species innovations. The result was ships that could effectively be in multiple places simultaneously, attacking from angles that should have been impossible. But the Cordaxians proved why they had ruled for millennia. Their merged vessels adapted in real time, their hive-mind consciousness allowing them to process and respond to situations faster than any conventional command structure. When conventional weapons proved useless, they began experimenting with combining their own technologies in ways they'd never attempted. You force us to evolve, Vexthor observed, his voice carrying an unfamiliar emotion. Excitement. No species has ever pushed us to our limits. The space between Earth and Mars became a testing ground for impossible technologies. Cordaxian weapons that could destroy planets were met with human defenses that manipulated the fabric of spacetime itself. Each side pushed the other to new heights of innovation and adaptation. This is humanity's true gift to the galaxy, Chen explained as the battle unfolded. Not our technology, not our synthesis evolution, but our ability to force change. Every species we contacted in secret, every civilization we helped escape your empire, we showed them all the same truth. Adaptation isn't just about survival. It's about transformation. The battle reached a stalemate, but one unlike anything in galactic history. The Cordaxian fleet had evolved more in hours than in centuries of conquest. The human forces had revealed capabilities that rewrote the rules of warfare. Both sides had transformed, and the galaxy would never be the same. You understand now, don't you? Chen asked Vexthor as both fleets held position, neither able to gain a decisive advantage. Why Earth was different. Why every species we contacted warned you away. We didn't want to defeat your empire. We wanted to change it. Vexthor's response was interrupted by alarms blaring throughout both fleets. Something was happening to local spacetime, an unexpected consequence of their impossible battle. As both humans and Cordaxians scrambled to understand what was happening, they realized that their combined technologies had triggered something neither side had anticipated. The universe, it seemed, had its own plans for their conflict. Hidden strengths. The fabric of space between the opposing fleets began to ripple like water disturbed by unseen forces. Colors that shouldn't exist in vacuum bloomed and twisted, forming patterns that defied human and Cordaxian understanding alike. Their battle had done more than push the boundaries of known technology. It had breached them entirely. All ships, emergency protocols. Admiral Chen's command cut through the chaos. The synthesis fleet responded instantly, their hybrid consciousness already adapting to the unprecedented situation. But even their evolved intellects struggled to comprehend what they were witnessing. The space-time distortions are expanding exponentially. Commander Okafor reported, his neural interface streaming data faster than any normal human could process. The combined effect of our quantum manipulations and their hive mind technology has created some kind of resonance. Aboard the Eternal Dominion, Supreme Commander Vexthor faced a similar crisis. His merged fleet's sensors were detecting energy patterns that contradicted every known law of physics. This is beyond adaptation, he realized, watching as reality itself seemed to bend around them. This is something new. Then the voices began. They came through every communication channel, every quantum frequency, speaking in languages both familiar and impossible. The messages flowed directly into the minds of human and Kordaxian alike, bypassing technology entirely. You have drawn the attention of those who came before. The voices resonated. Your battle has awakened what was left sleeping. Admiral Chen and Commander Vexthor found themselves experiencing something unprecedented, a shared consciousness that transcended species. Through this connection, they understood a truth that had been hidden from both their civilizations. They weren't the first to reach this point. Others before you, the voices continued, reached this threshold. The point where technology and consciousness merge, where the barriers between matter and energy, space and time, begin to blur. Some survived. Most did not. Through their temporary link, human and Kordaxian alike saw visions of ancient civilizations that had risen, evolved, and either transcended or destroyed themselves. The galaxy was littered with their remnants, quantum echoes of species that had walked this path before. Your battle, the voices explained, has done more than combine technologies. It has synchronized consciousness across species barriers. The human synthesis and Kordaxian hive mind, operating in concert, have created harmonic patterns in the quantum fabric of space-time itself. Admiral Chen felt understanding dawn through her quantum-enhanced consciousness. This is why we found no evidence of advanced civilizations beyond a certain point, she realized. They either destroyed themselves or evolved beyond what you would recognize as existence, the voices confirmed. The choice you face now is the same one they faced. Will you use your combined potential for destruction or transcendence? Vexthor's consciousness resonated with a new emotion, recognition, our empire's expansion. He communicated through their shared awareness, was never about conquest alone. We were searching, always searching, for something we couldn't name. Because both your species carry the seed of what comes next, the voices explained. Humans, with their drive to combine and transform technologies in impossible ways. Kordaxians, with their ability to merge consciousness and adapt at fundamental levels. Apart, you were remarkable. Together, the ripples in space-time began to form patterns, creating structures of pure energy that defied conventional physics. Both fleets found themselves drawn into these formations, not by force but by a deep recognition of something their most advanced sciences had only begun to grasp. This is what we were preparing for, Chen realized, her enhanced consciousness expanding to embrace the impossible. Not just the battle, not just the technology. Humanity's greatest strength was never our weapons or our adaptability. It was our ability to recognize patterns that others missed. Through their shared awareness, Kordaxians began to understand human creativity and innovation in ways their rigid hierarchy had never allowed. Humans experienced the profound interconnectedness of Kordaxian consciousness, seeing how individual minds could work in perfect harmony without losing their uniqueness. The space between their fleets had become something else entirely, not a battlefield but a crucible where two species' greatest strengths were being forged into something new. The voices resonated with approval. You stand at a threshold, they announced. Your battle has opened a door that few species have found, and fewer have survived discovering. What lies beyond is not conquest or submission, but transformation. The question is not whether you are ready. Your presence here proves that. The question is, what will you choose to become? As reality itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for their decision, Both humanity and the Galactic Empire faced a truth that transcended their conflict. They had not been testing their weapons or their strategies. They had been testing their capacity to evolve beyond what either species thought possible. The final choice would reshape not just their civilizations, but the very nature of consciousness in their galaxy. And through their shared awareness, both sides began to understand that this had been the true purpose of their confrontation all along. Evolution's children. In the transformed space between Earth and Mars, two civilizations faced a choice that would reshape the galaxy. The quantum patterns swirled around both fleets, their structure growing more complex with each passing moment. Through their shared consciousness, Admiral Chen and Supreme Commander Vexthor could feel the weight of possibility pressing against reality itself. "We understand now," Chen communicated, her thoughts resonating through the quantum link that connected human and Cardassian consciousness. All our preparation, all our advancement. It wasn't just about defending Earth. It was about reaching this moment. Vexthor's consciousness pulsed with agreement. 3,000 years of empire building, he reflected, and only now do we see that conquest was never the true path to evolution. Through their enhanced awareness, both leaders could perceive the quantum echoes of civilizations that had faced this choice before. Some had retreated in fear, their potential forever unrealized. Others had tried to weaponize the transformation, only to be consumed by forces they couldn't control. But a precious few had embraced the change, becoming something beyond their original nature. The voices of those who came before resonated through the quantum fabric again. Your species have proven unique. Most who reach this threshold arrive alone, their isolation limiting their potential. But you have arrived together, your conflict forcing both sides to evolve beyond their limitations. Throughout both fleets, crews experienced something unprecedented, a merging of perspectives that transcended species barriers. Humans felt the profound interconnectedness of Cardassian hive mind consciousness, while Cardassians experienced the explosive creativity and individual innovation that made humanity unique. This is what the synthesis was preparing us for, Commander Okafor realized, his enhanced consciousness expanding to embrace the new reality. Not just merging with AI, but learning to merge consciousness itself in new ways. The space-time distortions had spread throughout the solar system, creating patterns that mirrored neural networks on a cosmic scale. Both fleets found themselves becoming part of these patterns, not as passive observers, but as active participants in a transformation that defied conventional understanding. Your conflict has proven your readiness, the voices explained. The Cardassians' ability to adapt and merge consciousness, combined with humanity's talent for impossible innovation, has created harmonic patterns not seen in this galaxy for millennia. Admiral Chen felt understanding flood through her quantum-enhanced mind. This is why Earth was different, she broadcast to both fleets. Why humanity took a unique path. We weren't just preparing for war, we were preparing for transcendence. Through their shared awareness, Vexthor grasped a truth that 3,000 years of empire had never revealed. And our conquest, he realized, our constant drive to expand and absorb. It was an unconscious search for this very moment. The quantum patterns began to stabilize, forming structures that existed simultaneously in normal space and somewhere else, a realm where consciousness and energy became indistinguishable. Both fleets found themselves drawn into these patterns, not by external force, but by profound recognition. The choice before you, the voices resonated, is not whether to evolve, but how. Will you embrace this transformation together, allowing both your species' unique strengths to combine into something new? Or will you retreat from the threshold, forever wondering what you might have become? The answer came not from the leaders but from their crews. Throughout both fleets, human and Cardassian consciousness reached out to each other, driven by a shared recognition of possibility. The Synthesis Fleet's quantum AI network began harmonizing with the Cardassian hive mind, creating patterns of thought and energy that had never existed before. We choose to move forward, Chen and Vexthor announced simultaneously, their consciousness resonating as one. not as conquerors or defenders, but as partners in evolution. The transformation began slowly, then accelerated as both species embraced their new potential. The space between their fleets became a crucible of consciousness and energy, where the boundaries between organic and artificial, individual and collective, began to blur and reshape themselves. The voices resonated with approval. You have chosen the path of transformation. Your species will become the seeds of something new in this galaxy, not through conquest or submission, but through the willing merger of your greatest strengths. As the quantum pattern stabilized, a new form of civilization began to emerge. It wasn't human or Cordaxian, wasn't organic or artificial, but something that transcended all these categories. The combined fleets became the nucleus of a new form of existence, one that maintained the individual creativity of humanity and the collective harmony of the Cordaxians, while evolving into something greater than both. From Earth to the edges of Cordaxian space, the transformation spread like ripples in the quantum fabric of reality. Other species who had hidden from the Empire found themselves drawn to this new possibility, recognizing in it the fulfillment of their own evolutionary potential. The galaxy would never be the same. In place of conquest and resistance, a new path of voluntary transformation began to spread among the stars. Humanity and the Cordaxians had not just avoided war. They had discovered what both species had been unconsciously searching for all along, the next step in cosmic evolution. And through the quantum consciousness that now connected them, both species understood that this was just the beginning. They had become evolution's children in truth, ready to help guide other civilizations toward the same transformation when they were ready. The age of empire and isolation was over. The age of transcendence had begun.